Welcome back to Let's Talk. We've been off for a couple of days. Took a little break and now we're back live with you guys, and we're glad you guys are here with us this evening. And here at Let's Talk, we like to talk about issues that matter to you so we could come up with workable, practical solutions, have more action and less talk. I'm your host, Jason, with my co-host,
Cheryl.
And as you can see, guys, we got a young gentleman in studio with us today,
Yes.
Mr. Peter Gray Jr., also known as
PJ.
So, PJ,
Yeah.
you want to introduce yourself? Give us just a little background, who you are.
Okay.
Something else. What you want to tell the people, though.
What I want to tell the people. Okay, so I am firstly a Christian.
Hey.
So let's get out the gates with that.
Oh, the
My
plus.
name is Peter Gray Jr. I am the one son of Peter Gray Sr., Peter and Barbara Gray, and I am currently a diesel technician at M&E, but I'm a drummer, I'm a musician. I enjoy all the regular things that us normal human beings enjoy. Sports. I like to talk. Shout out to my girlfriend Janelle Thompson.
Hey, Janelle.
Also love her, and
Yeah.
it's not a whole lot to me, but as we speak and begin to talk, I guess more things will come out as as we get into it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So, Mr. PJ is in the studio with us today because we have a topic. Is a college education still needed? Or as the topic would put, do we still need college? Do we still need college? And that's the question. So guys, if you have an answer for us, and we still would always like to hear your opinions, call us at 352-8255 or just drop us a comment in the chat and we'll read it off live. And again, the question is, do you still need college? Now, I went as far as grade 12. Some of you may have picked that up in my conversation,
I was
right?
about to say, we
Whatever,
can tell,
Shell,
Jason.
whatever. Whatever, right? And then, I don't know how far Cheryl went. I don't know how far Mr. PJ went, but I guess all that will come out in our conversation.
Right.
Right.
Now, with me, I saw the value in a college education back then. Unfortunately, I didn't do it. I went straight into the job field,
Right.
worked my way ground up, and earn a pretty decent salary right now. Been on the job. Yeah, I ain't going to give my age away, but I
Probably
think you
makes
guys
more
know.
than many of us who have a college education. Just saying.
Yeah.
But anyhow.
Yeah. So I see the value in it. In fact, I work so I can send my kids
To college.
to college. One has completed and two are in right now. So I guess you would say I still see the value in it.
Yes.
But that's my side, my take. And so Cheryl.
I'm surprised you didn't start off with your statistics because you always have them. But I was looking at it online, whether college education is needed or not. Now, 29% of the person said no. Well, this is an American-based stat.
Yes.
So 29 said no. About 47, somewhere around there, said not even if you have to get a loan for it.
Right.
Because, a lot of persons they get a
Right.
loan for college. And another 20-something%, they said that if you,
Even if you
it's
get a loan.
important whether you
Yeah.
get a loan or not.
Right.
It is important. But for me, I would say it depends. It depends on your goals. It depends on your what do you want to be in
Right.
life.
Right.
If you want to be a doctor, definitely you need formal education. If you want to be a lawyer, you need formal education. But I think I wouldn't generally go out and say a college education is a must for everyone.
Correct.
And I believe that even as an educator, I don't know if I should go out and say that,
All right.
but I wish when we were, back in the day when I had kids in especially grade 12, that I kind of, you tell people, oh, going to college, that was the focus. So people who weren't college led, I'm sure they felt like they were out of the loop. But nowadays, I think persons like that, because everybody's understanding that college is not for everyone. And you have a lot of persons who have not been to college and they're doing so well.
Yes.
They're doing better and making more money than people who have been to college. So I think it's important to know who you are, know where you want to go, and then you get there the best way you know how.
Definitely. So PJ,
So-
what says he? What do you have to say on this
All right.
topic?
So this would be a sticky one in most cases, right? Because you're both people on separate sides of the fence, and they feel strongly, especially when both sets of people are successful,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
So both sides said, okay, my way works. Sometimes that causes a conflict.
Yeah.
However, I'm in agreement with you when you say it really depends on what it is that you want to do. I
Right.
feel like being prepared is essential.
Yeah.
That's what has to happen for whatever your goals are.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like it's more important to know what it is or find out what it is that you want to do earlier on. And we know just genuine life. Anyone who has a step up or a head start at whatever it is, they tend to be more prepared when the time comes. So I feel like preparation is more important, whatever form that takes, because for certain things, like you said, like being a doctor or a lawyer, those things are required. That's necessary.
Yeah.
However, for something like that's because tertiary education isn't the only, because when we talk about education,
Yeah.
we only think tertiary, we only
Yeah.
think collegiate
Yeah.
out of the gate. So
Right.
Yeah.
I think that we have to inform ourselves. Informing yourself is imperative. I'd say
Yeah.
that.
Definitely.
You
That's
need to
definitely-
be informed. You need to know. You need to educate yourself. But it doesn't have to be tertiary. And I
Yeah.
believe that once you decide what it is that you want to do, you find out the steps that are needed to get there. And if a tertiary education is a imperative part or a very important part of that climb or that journey, then please find out
That's what you
early,
do.
prepare yourself for that. So when you get to that point, because there are a lot of different factors when it comes to schooling, money, where it is. I mean, it's mostly money, right?
And that's the end
The
goal.
that's the
Yeah.
end all, you know.
Yeah.
Where it is, how prepared are you? Your character. Are you ready for college? Are you ready for college here? Are you ready for college abroad? Where it is that you're gonna go? Which school is best? But that's all in that world. So if you know that you have to get there, I would say find that out early and prepare yourself for that, and then do what you have to do. But informing ourselves is imperative, whatever form that takes to get you where you need it or
So-
where you want to go.
So let me ask you now, where do you stand in tertiary education? Did you go to college? Are you preparing to go to college? Where?
I did go to college. I went to UB for 2 years, didn't finish. Went to Holland College in Canada for 2 years, didn't finish. Right? So, but now I went to UB to do mechanical engineering.
Okay.
Okay, so I was fresh out of high school, wasn't as disciplined as I should have been. I was academically capable for sure. Went on a full scholarship and everything. But now that when you get to college and the responsibility of being disciplined
Yes.
is on you completely,
Strictly on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
it's a different motion at that point. You know what I
Definitely,
mean?
yeah.
So I would say very, very shamelessly, I wasn't disciplined to that point yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay.
So and then when I went to college the second time, it was more of a money issue when I didn't get to complete. But
Are you planning on finishing?
I would. That's the thing about it's all. That's why I said you have to find out early because it's all a timing thing as well.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that there's no age ceiling or plateau as to who can go to college or when you educate yourself. You could be whatever age you could go and do it, right?
Yeah.
But the stages of life don't wait for your
That's right.
education.
That's right.
So now, when you're just out of school, you don't have a family yet, you're not married yet, or you don't have, you're less tied down. You have that
Yeah.
freedom. Responsibilities ain't really hit you like that.
Yeah.
Yet. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because
That's the time to do it.
responsibilities sting a little different the older you get.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
I want to go back, but I would, to be very frank, it's not as easy as a decision. You have so much more to consider now than you had
Yes.
to before.
Yes. Yes.
I
But
agree.
yeah, for sure. It's always good to want to finish something that you started, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. You know
But I
something.
like how-
Go ahead.
I like how you said that it may not be tertiary education or formal education, but you have to inform
You
yourself.
have to.
Because I want to ask Jason now, you're on your job, you've been on your job many years, and you supervisor yet?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Talk
Yeah.
that,
So
yeah.
how were you informed?
I learned everything on the job,
On the
right?
job.
On the job, right?
Right.
And life is all about learning. And only dead things don't learn or don't
Right.
grow. So in order for me to keep progressing, excelling in my field, I have to learn.
Learn on the job.
And
right.
and I didn't go to it was informal. It was like little classes
you
where
had
I
to
was
do
certified, but I had to
certificate
do
courses, right.
Right.
get certified in order to go to the next step. So it's all about learning, right? So I agree. But something I wanted to touch on when he said he wasn't disciplined, going and I could see me being like that, you know, because I wanted to go to college, but not to learn.
Absolutely.
I saw the movies and I saw the parties and I was like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
oh man, I would
Yeah.
love to go to college. Because that's all it, college, that college life, what they say.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
go to
wait.
That's a
You
different
wanted to
word.
go
Yeah.
for the parties and
What you mean? I am a young guy ready to
Yeah.
explore my, you know,
So you're Royal
options. Yeah, so that's what the college was for me, right? But I didn't go there. I went straight into the job market, went straight in the field, and was working
So
from
if
then
your
till now.
children, Jason, say, I don't want to go to college, what will be your response?
See, that's the thing. Like he said, find out early on. I prod them when they were younger. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? And I always want them, I'm not going to tell them what they want to do. I want them to tell me what they want to do. And then we find the best path to get them where they want to go because it mightn't have to be college. It could be, what is the learning, BTVI, those, the
Right.
technical institutes. It doesn't have to, in fact, some jobs you could go straight on
Right.
learning, you know, hands-on. You may get some like certification here and there, but
Right.
you don't have to go and sit in this classroom
this-
setting
yes.
again
Yes.
to be sitting and learning subjects you don't need to learn. And I realize that with my kids when they're in college and they're telling them they have to take these psych classes and biology classes. I say, for what?
Exactly.
For the you know the field
Yeah.
that they're going into. I say,
That's
okay,
true.
this is reminding me of high school. They're teaching me about stuff that I'm never going to
gonna
apply,
use, yes.
never going to use. And college, to me, I feel I was getting fleeced. Because every time,
Yeah.
especially with my older daughter, every time you see the finishing line, okay, all she needs to do is finish this, and she'll graduate. Next thing, they tack on a couple of classes,
Yeah, I think
and
money-
then a whole year she
money
graduates. And
making
then, it's like,
scam, yeah.
come
Yeah,
on.
for sure.
So, and some of those courses she did not need,
That's
right?
true.
So she's a business major. Why is she taking chemistry? I think it was some
Thank you.
biology. Why? What?
Yes.
So
All kinds of
they,
unnecessary
it
courses.
was
You're
a,
absolutely
it
right.
was a scam. Some part they
I just
scam
think
me.
they want to drag it out because
Yes.
you're supposed to be
Yes.
you're supposed to do
Oh,
4 years
oh,
or
man.
whatever time. So if you
Right.
did it any less, you know, you something is wrong.
Even with
But
my son
definitely-
now, he's doing electronic engineering, and some classes they add. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to call the classes off because somebody might say, yeah, he
Earth
needs to take it.
science or zoology.
Right?
Yeah.
But I was like, hold on, what does that have to do with what you're doing?
Right.
Oh, they tell me I have to take this and they add it on. So it extended this time again. I
They
say,
want him-
all
Nuts.
over again.
They want him to have a conversational piece when he goes out. He's trying to get girls. He can say, you know, I know about zoology.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because
Yeah.
clearly,
Yeah.
yeah, he doesn't have anything. But if my kids say that, if my kids were to say that to me, I think, well, it depends though. And I know you guys will say this has nothing to do with gender, but I definitely believe it does. My daughter mentioned to me about dropping out of college a few years ago, and I was devastated. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, you know? And that's when I still thought that college was the thing. It has been 2 years
You don't?
now.
You don't think it's the thing
I
now?
no, I definitely
Okay.
don't. But listen, but my son dropped out of college prior to that, and I was not devastated.
Like, yeah, you put me straight, man.
So why?
Yes,
So
walk
hold on now. What's the
yeah,
difference?
so-
What's the difference?
Exactly, and it's funny. I just honestly, I consciously thought about that just now. That my son dropped out, and it wasn't no
A big
big
deal.
deal. I was disappointed, and I encouraged him to go back, you know. But I don't think he has any intention of going back. So I'm just, but my daughter, I was like, no way. But I don't know why. I feel like females especially need more of a formal education than males because I just think that the workforce sees genders differently. I believe that, especially in this culture, in our small Bahamian vernacular, I think that it's a little different.
There's,
Where as it relates to jobs,
Yeah.
what females can do, what they
There's-
can get into.
there is some validity to that.
Yes.
Like where that comes from, because in most cases, females don't dominate the trade workforce.
Right.
Right? So naturally, you're gonna feel like, okay, even if you would feel like in that context, he has more options as to what he could do.
Yeah.
Right. So I understand where that would
I
come
believe
from.
that, yes.
But at the same time, we often don't look at the more female centric trade jobs.
Right.
Like,
Like let's start off with the the
yes,
big
we
three.
have to take a
Hair.
commercial break.
Okay,
so
okay.
let's just say, we'll
All
come
right,
back
we can
right
come
after
back.
this.
You asked and I delivered. Island-ish is back. The podcast you guys have known to love, to like to call in, to like to interact with. We are officially back. For the ones that don't know me, this is your girl Yams. Hearing me on Mix 102.1 FM or your favorite TGF_Yams. With the 2 S's, we're back with Island-ish right here on Superior Talk. So make sure you're following the page. We're going live this Thursday, 6 p.m. Don't miss it. Follow us. It's about to get lit.
So welcome back to Let's Talk, and today we're talking college. Is it necessary or not? And before the break, Cheryl mentioned something about, how she was so devastated that her son dropped out, but when her daughter did it, she was so flawed
You
and
mentioned
devastated.
about doing it. There's no way I was going to allow that to happen.
Right. And she was saying that she felt that, for some reason, females need more or benefit more from a college education.
Yeah.
So, and she said it's because of the job force and PJ, started to piggyback off that.
Right.
So, continue with your thought. You're
Yeah.
saying
So there are trade when we because let's just make sure we all on the same page. I feel as
Right.
if trade jobs are any jobs that you do that involves a skill that you do with your you don't have to do it with your hands, but it's a skill where you have a product that you present to people, and you don't do it as something that's you don't do it as something that's you're not necessarily like, it's almost like a talent, like based off
Right.
of your
Your
natural
yeah.
abilities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Your natural abilities can really
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
determine how well you do, right? Or however much, and then it also goes back to discipline at any point in time.
Right.
Whatever you discipline yourself to try to
Right.
develop, you will
That's
develop.
true.
That's
Right.
that's a fact, right? But yeah, sometimes we don't. When we think about trade and we think about those kinds of careers,
Right.
we don't usually think of the female, those
Well,
that are more dominant. We don't
Yeah,
usually
that's
use
more
the
female-dominated. You're
the
right.
term female dominated fields.
Right.
We don't even use that term very
Right.
much. But
but they are.
yeah,
They
we
are.
have if you give yourself time to think of it, because of course you can think firstly hair, nails,
Right.
and things like that. But then you
Makeup,
also
you
have
know, that's
like
not-
when last you seen a young seamstress?
That's true.
You know what I mean? When
Clothes
last
is too cheap now to do any
That's-
sewing clothes.
that's a fact. That's
I
a
just
fact.
feel like
But every now and
even now
again,
people don't even repair them anymore. They just throw
That's
them
true,
away.
right.
okay, let's talk
Yeah.
about that real quick. When's the last time you've been to get some sort of clothing adjusted?
I just did it
Maybe
last
with a-
week.
To someone else.
Yeah, I carry my pants in to get.
Yeah.
Now this just might be a matter of opinion now, because you
And
know.
maybe that was the only person on the island.
No,
No.
there's a couple.
There are a few people.
There are a few
who,
people, yeah.
who just, oh, I
And if you
didn't
go
know that
into
was
these
a thing anymore.
establishments, they are busy.
Yeah, you have to wait
Busy.
weeks, at least a week before
To
you
get
get
your
stuff.
clothes
busy.
adjusted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where am I living?
But I mean,
I was going to say something, but you might throw a cup at me.
I
Anyway, go
might,
ahead.
yeah,
I
be
ain't
very
saying I
much.
keep them my
But
clothes.
maybe
Yeah.
it's just male. Is a male? It's
No.
just male. They do females as well.
Yes.
oh yeah,
Okay.
man, yeah.
My wife and I visit the same
Maybe because
seamstress.
I buy clothing that fits. You should try.
That's what it is.
Yeah. All right. Now I have to speed now. But yeah, but
So
sometimes if you give it some thought, you really could realize that we tend to marginalize ourselves sometimes, but it's like I say, the reasoning is valid. You know what I mean? For
That's
sure, the
true.
reasoning is valid.
But also too, I think a lot of the entrepreneurial fields that requires those natural talents. A lot of times too, those are fields a lot of persons get into without formal education. Sometimes they would have done some kind of training or something, but a lot of those fields, and I think a lot of times too, even we don't encourage our children to be entrepreneurs. Because I know when my daughter mentioned about dropping out of college, she wanted to be an entrepreneur. She wanted to do hair products, and I said, okay, go to school and do that on the side. So she actually did that, got her business license and did everything, and she's doing both. But I don't know, I just felt like as a parent, I just felt like having a formal education was a safety net because it gives you more opportunities.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
I think they say, having options, I think that adds more to your life, and the more options you have, the more valuable I think that you can be as a person.
I agree.
So that's why I would encourage, I'd encourage people to be educated, even if it's not formal education, if it's not college, be educated. That adds value to you.
Absolutely.
You know something, like you said, I can't disagree with that. You need to be informed. You need to be educated. Don't walk around there being ignorant. There's no
Right.
excuse for that, whether you go to college or not. This right here, the school of Google
I'm
and
telling you.
University of YouTube,
Oh yeah.
there's no excuse for walking around there being a dum-dum, right? So, but college, I was reminded of something you said just now when you said just do that on the side, but get your college education. Because I remember telling my daughter the same thing. She loved doing hair and all that stuff, right? And she could make them decent money because hairdressers pull down some corn, some serious
I can
corn.
tell you that for
Oh
a
my
fact.
Anything that caters to a
For a
woman's
fact.
ego and woman's vanity
Makeup,
pulls down corn, right? But he's like, okay, me and the mother were like,
It's-
okay, you
yeah.
could do that on the side, but get your college education. Because we still have of this opinion that once you have that degree, you could demand. You know,
Right.
you go on the job field, they see that paper, they pay you more. And better and
I
so
don't even think
sad.
that's true anymore.
It
That's a
is.
sticky one.
Some jobs
But yeah,
recognize it. Some jobs recognize it.
Some, yeah.
And because I know my job where I work, they recognize it.
In the government field,
Right,
too,
and
for
government
those,
fields they
yeah.
recognize it. But then it's so sad that some people that don't work for them because they have this paper and they cannot be
Yeah,
hired
that's
Exactly.
unfortunate.
because they say they're
Yeah,
overqualified.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So now they've been to school, invest all this time, invest all this money. Sometimes their parents would have mortgaged their homes or
Thank
they would have
you.
taken
Pay
loans
loans.
to get college education, and then they cannot go into the job field to work to get that money back. What they said, it was an investment. Now they can't get any return on it.
Right.
And so I guess that would lead to the stats where some people said, I think I read the same stat. They said that if you don't have to take a loan out, then the education
fine, right.
it's worth it. But if you have to take a loan out, it's not worth it. And I think that's where they come from. They get that from, because
Right.
if you get the paper, you get the degree, and you're not going to be, you can't apply it,
Right.
and you're not going to be
Compensated for it.
compensated for it, because
Yes.
they're going to say reimbursed. But
Yeah.
compensated
Yeah.
for it,
That's true.
then what value
the
is
point,
it?
exactly.
So you might as well have been like me and just going on the job and just work your way
That's
up,
true.
right?
But let me ask you this though. You think like people like you, Jason, you think you're lucky? I mean, the fact that, what percentage of people, and this might be hard to answer, but what percentage of people you think are like you? Do you think, I'm going back to the gender, do you think that females are in that position or because I know a lot of males who have been on jobs like you and they're technical jobs and they're working the field and they have worked themselves up and they're making good money. Like I said, more money than people who've gone to college. But I only know males and that might be my limited exposure.
And that's because, Cheryl, female are not interested in the jobs that we do.
Can we do the jobs that
yes,
you do?
Yes, you can, because we do
Yes.
have some
Female
females who
technicians,
doing
like-
it, right? Technicians,
Okay.
plumbers, mechanics, electrical,
Welders.
welders. They have some female who do it, but that's not attractive to you guys, and that's because that's not in
Because
your
of
nature.
the sweat and the
Right, and that's not in your
desperation.
nature. That's not in a
Carrying
female's
heavy
nature to
stuff,
go there and
climbing
work
high.
work hard.
Right.
It's in a man's nature to work hard. Physically work hard. Let me clarify that because she's ready to
Yes.
jump on it. It's not in a
Please.
female's nature to go there and physically work hard. Men, we were born for that. A lot of men
Agreed.
look back and we glad to say, man, I fixed that. We like to think of the things and it's just in our nature and it's in your nature to care and nurture and mother and all that stuff. That's why you go to the jobs like the teaching and the healthcare stuff like that, they're most female dominated, like nurses and teachers and there's some other, caring for kids, little kids. But so the trades, like he mentioned, you still need school for that, but you don't need a college education for that. You go to a
Right.
trade school because you want to be certified.
Right.
Definitely, if I go to a mechanic who is certified, then we have the bush mechanics. I go into the certified ones.
Really?
Same thing with the electricians, same thing with the plumbers, same thing with the welders and all that
them
stuff.
bush mechanics,
I'm
they
going to the
hard.
certified
they
ones.
They do it.
They can do it, but it can
As
last,
a
but I don't know how
mechanic,
long.
I just wanna,
Plug this thing.
Yeah, I want you to, encourage that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
to get certified, right?
It's not because I grew up in the bush too. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not,
yeah.
That's not getting twisted. I feel
Okay.
like it's very good to have that balance of,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
the bush teaches you how to get things done
With
without
what you have.
all of the
Right.
Now when you have that and then you get that formal training, it's like you like the amalgamation
Yes.
of both worlds. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
yes.
Like,
Okay.
you really
Top notch
you're
then.
much, you're,
Yes.
you're much more capable, really and truly,
Right.
because you have a lot more, or you have a variety of experience.
Yeah.
Right? But outside that, that's just a quick plug.
Yes,
Don't-
definitely get
don't
certified.
People, like I understand that you pay for the quality that you want.
Definitely.
Okay, let's just leave it like that.
Definitely,
Let's leave it like
definitely.
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Definitely,
continue, my brother.
definitely.
Continue.
No, but definitely,
Yeah.
I encourage, I gotta say it, I encourage them to get certified because the bush can take you so far. The
Right.
bush can help you to work with whatever you have. It'll last for just as much you
For-
put in.
Yeah, it has
But-
a ceiling. Yeah.
But you get certified, you do it the right way, and you know how to, like I only piggybacking what you're saying. You know how to get everything done, right? And these, the stuff that we have today, then they won't survive the bush. They need certified. They need to
yeah.
be done the right way. So,
So how do you know the person is certified? You see their
they
license
come
or
highly
whatever.
recommended. Their
Okay.
work speaks for
The work
themselves.
speaks
The
for you,
work
man.
speaks for themselves.
The work speaks.
The work speaks
Yeah.
for I'm
Okay.
telling you,
Okay.
from
boy.
taking your car to a bush mechanic who can get it to get you home.
To get you, yeah.
To take it to the certified person
sir.
will actually
Before-
take your car to the next year without any problems. No lights on the dashboard, nothing. So, and we are speaking but mechanics, right? But that's and everything.
Across the board.
When you have people who build in your house, contractors, you want somebody who's certified.
That's
When
formal
hurricane come,
education.
and mind you, the bush mechanic, the guys who learn on the streets, right? They will know how to do it, but they probably wouldn't know why they're
Right.
doing it.
It's, yeah, that's a good
So
point.
you need to know the why.
The why, yeah.
And certified will teach you this.
Yeah.
So I'm no knocking the bush guys, because we wouldn't be where we are without them. But take it to the next level.
Yeah,
You know?
there's certain things like we did say earlier. There's certain things you want someone who has formal education to do. I remember I won't say where or when, but I had some students who were getting their braces put in by someone in a house to a
Oh
corner.
yeah.
That's
Oh
nuts.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling
Yeah.
And I said, really?
Why do you think we are so risky as humans? Like, why?
I don't understand. Like,
we like to push the envelope.
Yo, we can do it now.
why?
Save them $2, man.
Yes.
Just for $2. That's
Yeah.
where, hey, that's where you draw the line on your health, on your teeth. That's where you can save the money. Come on.
I'm
man.
telling you,
Oh,
you
boy.
don't. And I always tell my daughter, you don't compromise on health and safety.
No,
Those are two
no.
things you don't compromise on. Whatever the money is, you pay that because it's that important. But I want to ask you though, PJ, how old are you?
I am 29.
See, I could ask him. He's a guy. A female, I wouldn't do that on air.
air, yeah,
But I
yeah.
wanted to ask you. So your friends or your counterparts, do they have the same perspective as it relates to college or no college as you do? What is the word on the street around
I
people your
believe-
age?
Okay, firstly, people our age, because you all seem to be in the loop.
Yeah,
Hey, I can take it. I'll take it. A
we
win
are
is a
all-
win.
we
A
are
win is a
all-
win, bro.
We are all exposed to the same information.
Life, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You know what I mean? Because of social media, because of how small the world and how universal opinions have become because we're all connected.
That's
Right.
true.
You understand? I don't
true.
think there's any young person now that you would go to who won't acknowledge and appreciate the balance between the two worlds and the way that
agree.
they
I agree.
interact.
Okay.
But
Oh,
well, We
Yeah,
have a commercial.
that's why I stopped.
Yeah, we have.
So we can take this quick commercial break and we'll be right back, guys.
Yes.
Stick around.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, Bahamas? My name is Andrew Williams, aka Cat,
And I'm your boy Mix
and we're representing Off the Bench, the #1 talk sportcast in the Bahamas.
in the world, my boy.
My bad partner. So
Yeah.
we cover anything sports throughout the Bahamas. We cover our Bahamian athletes wherever they are, and they're making waves in sports. We cover them.
Hey, just tune in to us every Wednesday here on Superior Talk at 6 o'clock p.m.
The number
Sharp
the #1 talk show
in the world.
in the world.
Craig.
Oh, shoot.
So, guys, thank you for joining us, sticking around. We'd be glad to hear from you. Give us a call, 352-8255, or just drop a comment in the chat and we'll read it live. We're talking about college. Is it necessary? Is it still necessary? And I think we're of the opinion that it is. Now, I haven't been to college. I
we
took
do
the
have one,
long,
sorry.
I took the long way around. But we do have a comment, and it's from B. Lord, and he says, online education is effective.
sure.
Oh, yes,
Sure.
definitely.
Sure.
Definitely. And I think that's offsetting college a lot, you know. You don't have to go through, it's like fine tuning what you want to get. It's almost like a trade school. So you could just go in and take up the specific courses you need to get where you need to go, rather than taking that long way,
Yeah.
paying for dorms and all this
Yeah.
unnecessary stuff, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah, I
So-
agree.
Sure.
Online education, so there's no excuse to be ignorant again, like we say. There's free education, YouTube, Google, opinions of other people's, and then there's online schools, and then there's the old way, which you guys have been to college on the physical campus. Did you go to college? You said yes, right? I'm just assuming. No?
Yes, it's easy
Okay.
to assume because of how I sound, right?
Yeah,
My
yeah.
level of
we can
intelligence.
Fool, we can
that-
fool. No,
yeah.
not the level of
Oh,
intelligence, the way you sound.
Oh,
Be
you know?
quiet.
Talk.
Jason is just a hater.
Yeah.
Yes, in order to be a teacher, you need to have a formal education. Well, yes, you actually do.
Can you get that
Sure.
degree online?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, good,
They-
good.
And as a matter of fact, the Bahamas, they're so strict here that they only accept from certain colleges.
That's good. That's
There are
great.
a lot of colleges that it's not accredited.
Mm.
You know, when it comes to becoming an educator in the Bahamas.
That's great. Awesome.
Yeah, the standards are very high.
Like you said, there's some things you.
It's not very high
Some
for
professions-
politicians, but it's
Oh my
education.
God.
But
Yes.
if since we're talking about this, and I want to mention, you know, the Prime Minister would have asked the member of the leader of the opposition about, well, you know, what is he? What is his profession? You know, and alluded to the fact that, you know, well, he's of the creative arts, and you know, what's his track record? And he said, well, you know, I'm a lawyer. I built a firm from the ground up.
Right.
So back to formal educator. Do you having formal education, is it required in order to be the prime minister of a country? And is it required to have formal education in a specific area? In the past, our prime ministers have been a doctor. We've had a doctor. We had a lawyer.
Lawyers.
Lawyers, right.
A lot of lawyers.
Lawyers/liars. Lawyers/liars. You know,
Yes.
lawyers there.
A lot of
So
lawyers.
it was, and I brought it up because, you know, we're talking about formal education, and I think it is our culture that we have high expectations of our leaders.
Yes.
Of people we expect to you know, to be in certain places. We expect them to have certain
Right.
accolades. Is that hypocritical though?
I don't think so. Now, PJ, if you want to jump in before I start, because I might rant.
Hypocritical from which side? From our side or from?
From any side, because, you know, here it is, we're saying then formal education is not necessary in certain areas, but are we saying, okay, are we said doctor, lawyer, we're saying, yeah, you need to have. So who's to say? Who gets to say?
Who shouldn't have it?
Who should have? Who, you know?
Who needs the
needs-
college education?
Right.
Well, for what seems to be necessary to be the leader of a country, you have to be informed on the law, international politics.
Do I need
All of
formal
those-
education for that? I know we're saying, a lot of us are saying, you have to be smarter than me to lead me. I have to be smarter
Right.
than you to lead
Yeah,
you,
yes.
Jason?
I would think so. You should.
Should.
Yeah.
But a college education does not. And the thing is, I
Doesn't
think,
make
and
you
that
smarter.
that is exactly, and I think that's what
Right.
we have done for the longest. We have told our
Assume.
children that if you're not headed to college, you're not as smart as the person
Right,
who
and
is.
that's
You know, and we're saying that the
misinformation.
doctor this and the master's
No.
degree this, these are the smart people.
No.
And you know, like, and I've said to many, the kids who go to electrical engineering and to mechanical engineering and those even hospitality and those in school, these are the entrepreneurs who become your employers.
Those who drive the country, those who will keep the country
Thank
running.
you. Exactly. So
So
even
you
like
can't
those-
start.
sometimes, and a lot of those persons don't have formal education.
Right. Trade
know,
school. Most of them only
They,
go as
you
far
know,
as trade
go
schools.
to,
Yeah.
like you say, they are informed, they have been
Technicals, right.
educated. So we have to be careful too. Even with our expectations, we could come off as hypocritical. You know, because we say one thing, but we have a certain outlook on other things, even, you know, without actually saying it.
So do you feel, Peter, that the Prime Minister needs to be college educated?
The Prime Minister.
Should it
needs
be a
to
prerequisite that he has a degree?
I would think that I will. Yeah, that's a sticky one. You know why? Because we want our Prime Minister, like you said, we want to look up to someone that seems to be a person that is accomplished and is the version of ourselves that we want to see in the leader.
Better version, right? Yeah.
Right? So,
Accomplished.
so I would say, because we've already stated that that's college isn't the only way to inform yourself.
Right.
However, because of this, the career, I mean, the profession specific things that a prime minister would need to be exposed to, most of those things or most of that information,
Comes from
in most cases, I come in for a quality information now, because you could find out anything on the internet at this point.
Yeah.
But most of that access to that kind of information is tertiary.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
If
a good
we
point.
look at the facts, most
That
of
is a
that's
good point.
tertiary. So
This is
I
a
would
good
say, I wouldn't say, because leadership, like if you're someone that's gonna, like, that you have a heart for the country and you're gonna do whatever it takes to make sure that we all believe that, you make us believe that, you show us that. Because at the end of the day, it's still up to voters.
Right.
So I feel like if the person is charismatic enough and has the heart for the country enough, hey, I'd vote for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if we're saying,
you have to go speak to world leaders.
I really
You have
believe,
to. You have
I'd
to.
say a leader should be exposed and be able to relate to everyone that he's leading.
You dancing around it. Just
people
come on and
that
say
are
it.
educated.
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
people that- So
Yeah.
yes,
You dancing
I
around
would
it.
say
PJ. Just come on and
yes,
say
our
it.
prime
Yes.
minister
Needs to be college educated?
not needs to be, but it would be very. It's very good. Yes, yes.
You say yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's a long way to say yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So.
but I don't want to say that someone that isn't wouldn't be capable.
Yeah,
Be disqualified. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
I am of the opinion that it doesn't matter because you could, like we said already, he could have a college education and still be an idiot,
Yeah,
Right.
Dodo, yeah.
right? And
We've
then he
seen
can
them.
right. We've seen them. We
Yeah.
have plenty of them walking
Yeah.
around, right? You know, they're book smart, they're
Right.
silly,
Yeah.
they're so smart till they're dumb.
Yeah.
You know, they can't relate to people. So
Exactly.
I'm of the opinion that you need to be a wise human being,
Right.
and wise human being
I agree.
keep people around him who you can learn from.
That's a word we
Right.
haven't used yet for the conversation. No,
Exactly.
wisdom is a different cut.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
Because
so-
knowledge without wisdom is dangerous.
Yeah.
exactly, and that's exactly. We had a lot of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can have the knowledge, but don't know how to apply it.
Right.
And wisdom is applying knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So a wise person. So he doesn't have for me, a college education isn't a prerequisite. He
Right.
just has to show track record of wisdom, making wise decisions. So definitely he have to build something.
Yeah.
He has to have a record of building something. You ain't gonna just come here and say, oh, I have a college education and I'm a bachelor of this and I was a lawyer or this and that. Now I want to lead. No.
Okay.
No,
You asking
right?
for track record too, eh?
Oh, definitely. You got to have.
Okay.
You know
you
what
have
you're
to
touching on? Also, a lot of times when I mean it's a reflection of character,
Right.
but there's also sometimes an entitlement that comes along with
Once
with,
they have.
with having received a a formal or a
Yes,
tertiary education.
yes.
Something like how you said, like, yeah, I did it, so now, hey, you know?
Yeah, right.
that
Yeah,
happens a
yeah.
lot, really
Right.
and truly.
But
So-
I'm gonna this might be a first for the night. I'm gonna agree with Jason. Might not be a second time. But what you said was surrounding himself, because like he may not have the knowledge himself, but
Right.
you have the people around
Ah,
you
exactly.
who are going to advise you, and that takes a wise person.
Right. So I
Because
might not be
you
a
had-
Absolutely.
Right.
You will never know everything, and even with
Never.
a college education,
Exactly.
you will never know everything. So it's so important to have people around you and people who have knowledge on different things.
exactly.
So all of you together will encompass a great deal of information that is required to run a whole country.
and see the danger.
Isn't that also, like, to agree, that's the model of the business world as it is. Just like the
Yes.
Prime Minister.
Yes.
If he's the one with the vision, he's the one with the wisdom, he's the one with the leadership, and he surrounds himself with the capable people to make all the auxiliary things and make
Right.
same way. Usually the entrepreneur or the owner of these businesses, there's a product that we produce or whatever it is, product or service, but I surround myself with people that make
The know-how.
it
yes.
Yes.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So before I jump back onto my rant, we have a caller. Caller, welcome to Let's Talk. You're live. What you got to say about this? Do you think we need college?
I think we need college.
Yes.
All right, let me bring this out. That's fine. This one. Hey, Sharon, what's happening?
Hey, what's up? I so love to hear your voice.
Hey, no, hey, take so rude. Take this. Jump straight into it.
Straight into it. Let's get into it. Straight to no
Jason so rude.
fluff. Welcome, caller. Welcome. What you got to say?
That's it. All right, yeah, the thing, right, with the whole college thing now. What I think now, what is wrong is the educational system where the baby present college to the kids. You know, because I was growing up in our era. You had to go to college and get a job. Right? And then it was more so that your parents were directing you on what to think of in college. You wasn't even thinking what
Yep.
you
Guilty.
But
Yeah.
many of us get degrees in areas that we don't even use.
That's right.
Mm.
You
You're
know?
not interested in it.
Exactly. We wanted to make our parents proud. And then sometimes, we have to be in a realistic state where it's like, we have to tell ourselves, like, listen, go after your passion. If you want to be an electrician or mechanic, I don't want to send you. I can send you to the EDI or,
Trade school.
but we have to teach our kids from young. Like, you have to get them out of that. Like, boy, you're going to be young forever. Now, I must say, in this era and day and time, and this is thing where I see a college education is so important. I just had this conversation with my daughter. I said, listen to me. I'm changing. That era where the college degree was just everywhere, and people wasn't utilizing it, I changed it. I said, we watching people take shape, and persons coming from outside of people are taking the drugs, and persons here in grandmama to take
That's a
the
good
stuff.
point. Yeah.
Because we kind of locked in that area. I watched UB graduation the other day, and I couldn't believe the low county at the Northern campus. I was like, Jesus, that's it. So I'm now seeing that importance. Now, you have to be realistic with yourself. If college ain't for you, it ain't for you. But there will become a time further on in life, you may sit back and think, well, Jesus, I should have gone to college. It will happen. All them crowds come out. Some point in our life, and we was like, yes, I wish I should do that. Because I find
100%.
myself at my age right now,
100%.
I take an English classes over. Because I find myself in meetings and sitting in amongst people that's, they speak eloquent.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, they communicate at a high level.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now we at 43. I like, Jesus, I should have do this long time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's the way we present the whole aspect of college. We have to like I say, invest time with our kids and say, hey, pick your passion if you want to go, but here's the result if you don't go.
Right.
Because the world changing as we see it every day, every other day.
Yep.
So that's my own take on it. And I do think the Prime Minister should have that level of wisdom and college education to an extent. It's just college education is for comfort of mind to the people. But he should have wisdom. Because we had a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He was not smart to the people.
That's where you lose me, Vito. Bye.
Thanks, Vito. Always a pleasure, my brother. You said something.
Hey, he touched on something just now about our parents, and that's something that really also.
I'm guilty as sin of that.
Listen,
I tell my child, go
but
be this.
for the reasoning behind it is something that I want to talk about once we finish the commercial break.
Wow. Commercial break again. So guys, we'll be right back after this
Wow.
quick commercial break.
How many?
I'm Flynn Daxon from Nose Witness News, reporting live from Sniper Paintball City. We're here with the manager and he's going to tell us a little about what they have to offer.
Daddy, I got this at Sniper Paintball. We have paintball, cornhole, mini golf, batting cage.
Strike!
That's not a strike.
So come on down every Saturday and Sunday to Sniper Paintball City, located next to Crosstown, where you and the family can have a great time.
See you at Sniper.
So welcome back to Let's Talk, and we're talking about, do we still need college? Is a college degree even still worth it today? And I think we all consensus that it is still worth it, right? But we got some comments. Elord says a college education doesn't equate to smart or intelligent. It's dependent on the individual. Otherwise, it's basically obtaining a document for classes that you paid for.
Hey.
Truth.
That's a fact.
Yes.
Oh, they have Sadie.
Oh.
At Sadie's answering, Sadie, Eva,
Eva
Grace Wilson.
But we didn't know what Sadie said. You have
No.
to put up what Sadie said so that we can
Yeah.
know
but
what
anyway,
B. Lord is responding to.
Maybe she took it down, but he said former
Okay.
PM ministers displayed the most incompetent leadership
We're not
ever in
reading that
history
on
of
the air.
Hey, this is his opinion.
not
It's a freedom of
reflect
speech. The views
Yes,
and
can we
opinions
put
of this show does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host.
Of the host or the
reading-
producer.
Yeah, or the
Hey,
producers. Yeah.
Can't
Put that
buy
in clear.
wisdom. No.
You can't pay for college classes. You can't pay for college classes to obtain a piece of paper stating that you are certified, but you can't buy wisdom. Or you can pay for college. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm buying that.
You can't buy wisdom.
Yes.
No, sir.
I agree.
And he
Why
says,
is he putting that back up?
because he wants us to read it. This is the opinion of B. Lord, not Let's Talk or the producer.
Or Cheryl
B. Lord
Pinder.
Beach, or
I love my
says,
job and I love my leaders.
Former PM has displayed the worst, most incompetent leadership in the history of the Bahamas from 2017 to 2021. The country regressed tremendously under his leadership. That's B. Lord's opinion. I won't say I agree or disagree. I waive my rights. What do you say? The fifth plea, the fifth.
I'll have the same last name though. You probably have a lot in common.
His last name is Beats. I don't know what you talking about. My last name is Lord. I don't know what you talking about.
Hey, brother.
Listen.
You've been taking shots on
Yeah, you should try and I'm being nice. You
I know,
realize that, right?
bomb them.
Right,
No,
because
bombing them.
because I
Yeah.
am man.
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
broad
yeah.
shoulders. I
Yeah.
can
You know
take
what?
it.
Can we not? This is
Yeah.
not Jason Lord show.
Yeah,
Can
whatever.
we get back to we're
See,
talking
yeah,
about?
Listen, she can shoot the
We're
shots,
talking
but
about.
anyway. But listen,
I
that's
forgot
that
what
you
we
go
were
to
talking
say that. Yeah, she forget what we were talking about.
Yeah.
But you, that's what I'm saying. You know, I know that's what I was saying. But I wanted to say that, you know, when some people obtain these degrees, they feel that they are more intelligent than the rest, and they shoot down the opinions of people who they feel lesser than. And that leads to that type of
Superiority,
leadership,
boy.
right? That's the superiority complex. You know, they think, I know it all. I don't need your opinion
Arrogance.
because
Yes.
hey, look at me. I'm a doctor.
Yes.
I'm a lawyer.
Yes.
I've been to school and I got this degree. What you got? You can't tell me nothing.
Some people don't even answer when you call them otherwise.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah,
If you
yes.
don't say doctor.
Doctor so and so.
They
Yeah.
don't. They don't
It's crazy
answer.
that it becomes their whole identity.
Yes.
Yes.
That's nuts. Yeah.
But you-
Inferiority complex.
Yes.
Or low self-esteem.
So
Yeah.
you were saying, Vito, about the parents choosing.
Yeah. That was Vito, right?
Yes.
Hey, shout out Vito. That
Yeah.
was a good point when you brought up parenting, right? Let's get racial for a quick second, right? Because we are
Can we say cultural?
cultural. Let's be cultural. I apologize to whoever. But we can only express and we can only communicate from our background and our experiences.
Right.
So as black people, right? Our experience is different.
Mhm.
So I feel like there's been a generational progression as to what we expect or what we see as accomplished.
Yes.
I know
Definitely.
my grandmother, not great, my grandmother was illiterate.
Right.
Now she raised 14 kids and they're doing very well.
Yeah.
And she was a very wise woman, right?
Right.
But she was literate, right? So for her whole thing was, I just want my kids to go to school.
Yes.
Right.
I want them to go to
Right.
primary school. I want them to
Yes.
go to high school.
Right. Graduate
Yes.
high
Right?
school, and that's accomplishment.
Right?
For,
That was
Exactly.
it.
That's
For her,
successful.
just,
That's
I want
success.
her to go to second. I want her to complete secondary education.
Right.
Yes.
And that for her, that's
That's
me.
success.
Because as parents, I mean, I'm not a parent yet, but it seems that as parents, we want our children
To
to exceed
accomplish.
us.
Always
Right?
better us.
We
Be
want-
our
we
better.
want them
But
to
take it a
succeed
step.
that.
Take it a step
So-
further. You have some. I want my child to get a government job.
That's what
That
I
was-
say. It's a
that
generational
was-
progression.
yes,
So
and that
first
was
it's
it
saying,
next.
I just want you to go to school. Then I just want you to complete high school. Then
Right.
it's like, okay, to be successful, you need to go to high school. Once you go to high school, you can be able to get a job.
Right.
Right.
And then now it's gone another step. Now to be successful, we want you. Now this is as black people, because obviously first we weren't educated.
Right.
So just being able to
Education.
read was
Read
Yes,
was an
that's
that was an
accomplishment.
accomplishment.
Exactly.
Right? So
Right.
That was
as we
sticking it to the man.
as a race,
Right,
or as
right.
we as a culture, sorry, as we come up in the world, we also we sometimes, in a lot of cases, not in some, in a lot of cases, tertiary education is also a show of social and economic standing.
Yes. Progress. Yes.
We want to say that, hey,
Strength.
we doing it just because we can.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's every generation is a stage that we increase,
Progress,
we increase,
yeah,
we
yeah.
And
progress.
it's something. It's taking back something that was withheld from us.
Right.
And
Yeah,
it
so
is
just
a,
making a statement,
That's
yeah.
also a big part of why a lot of us push to go
Our
to
chil- and push
we
our
push our
children.
and we
Yes,
push ourselves
because-
we want that's something that we've attached to
success.
to success
Yes.
as,
But not only
as,
that-
as a culture.
I still say to
Which is
students
a
that
good thing.
education is something no one can take from you.
No.
What
Right.
you know,
Not
no
at
one can
all.
take from you, and I think that's a part of it too.
You know-
why it's a powerful statement. Educating ourselves, we're making a powerful statement.
Right.
it is a flex for parents to say, my child is off to school or in
Yes.
college. Not even
Yes.
off. My child is in
In
UB.
college, yeah.
Because I
yeah.
have my child is off to school,
Yeah.
and then one is here in UB.
Right.
By her choice, she wanted to go to UB.
Right.
So it's a flex to say, yes, my child is in college.
Yeah.
And it's even bigger flex to say they've
Off.
completed.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
they got their
Thank you.
degree.
Yeah. Thank
you
So
for saying that.
so for
Thank you for saying
like
that.
it's
Yeah.
just to your point. It's a progression. I didn't go. Because of finances, but I wanted
I want
to.
you to
Yeah.
Therefore, it's a flex to have your child do better than better. And in my
Better-
sight, that is
exactly.
better than
Better
you know.
than you. But,
because a
like,
lot of times, even when you sit down and you listen to adults that have children speak, once you would never. I don't know if y'all could think of times where an adult that has not. Why am I saying adults? Like we're not all adults, but yeah, when a parent that has a child that's in school doesn't bring up the fact. Just in conversation, they always because that's something that they're proud
Yes.
of.
yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? And
True.
sometimes that's
Yeah.
the majority of the motivation because we want to say that hey I because we want to like you say education no one can take it from you and the opportunities are expanded with an education.
Yes.
So education
Yes.
always adds. It
Yes.
never takes away.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The
Absolutely,
motivation
yeah.
is I want to equip you as best as I know how.
Yeah.
As best as I can.
Yes.
So
And
that's a
isn't
lot
that-
of times
is
that's
that
another
the
reason why
job?
we
That's the job of parents.
yes.
Right.
And
yes.
I think you feel like, as a parent, I feel I have accomplished something.
Yes.
When my children
Oh, for
have,
sure.
accomplished
Yes.
that.
Be-
But
That's a
to
flag.
Vito's point, I never even wanted to become a teacher. My mother just sent me to teachers college.
Yeah.
And I think it's only because one of her friends' daughters was going.
Wow.
So that's how
Wow.
I ended up there. I wanted to become a lawyer.
That's a whole
You know-
nother
God knows
conversation. That's
that,
deep, you know.
Yes.
You know something.
But I don't regret it. You
yeah,
know?
because it afforded you to be
That's-
where you are now.
Let's go off on a
Exactly.
tangent. Did you have any other interests?
No, I wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay, that's-
But I don't know that I would have. I don't know that I would have progressed in that area.
I don't
if
think so,
had done
Sharon.
it.
I don't see you.
Why,
have
thank
the
you,
cut. I
Jason.
don't even have what it takes. Hey, that's my
That
short.
boy fine
I
getting
get it. I can take one.
Your boy
I
getting
was gonna
short.
let it go, but she's short. I'd be too much tonight. I have to shoot back. But
I think I was awesome at it.
I remember the reason why I never forced my children in any direction. I tried to see where they were going, and I left it up to them. Now I really wish I was a
That's
little bit
good.
more forceful, and making them choose, right? Because
Okay.
I was too laid back, I
It's a
think.
delicate balance, isn't
Right,
it?
it's a delicate. So, but I didn't do it because I remember my mom forced me down a path that I did not want to go.
Okay.
And I, to this day, I'm 10 years old now, and I'll never forget the
Yeah.
sting of it.
Oh,
Now, mind
okay.
you, she only did what she knew
Right.
best, right? It was mentioned in her head because I was a little bit academically inclined, right?
Yeah.
That I wasn't interested. I wasn't interested in it. And all the teachers said, I wanted to
yeah.
go down this path because I wanted to be an architect. Mommy them don't know nothing about architect. You know, all they
But
know
the
is
teachers told
right,
her.
Right. All they know is doctors and lawyers.
Lawyers,
And they told her, oh, your son is wasting his talent in that course. He could be in academic sciences and he could be a doctor. And that's all she heard.
Oh.
He could be a doctor.
Doctor.
So you
and
could have
that was
been an
it.
architect right now.
Yeah, and she and every day it doesn't cross my not every day, not as much before,
Right.
but it passes my mind every now
Right.
and then. You know, I could have been an architect.
But I didn't learn.
You didn't learn, right?
I didn't learn from the fact that my mom.
She missed that.
I didn't miss it, Jason. Trust
ahead,
me, you
continue.
can try harder. But the fact that my mom forced me to go to teachers college, I forced my daughter to do the same.
Cheryl,
And
you didn't
she
learn.
did
Okay,
it.
you didn't learn. That's
She did
correct.
it a year, and then she changed her major to architecture.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
from
that's
teaching
awesome.
because she was like,
Awesome.
she was like, she, I don't want to be a teacher, but
Yeah.
thankfully a lot of the courses because she was so good in math.
Right.
So I said, become a math teacher. And so she changed, but a lot of the courses that she did in the first year, she'd have transferred it
Okay.
to the other degree.
Okay, that's good.
So
Awesome.
yeah, but I was trying to do the same thing. I did the same thing that my mom did
Even
to
though
me.
you know you regret. Not
I didn't
regret it,
I
you
didn't think
like
about it at the time. I really didn't. As a parent, you just feel like you're doing what's best for your child because that is your end game.
And it worked out well for you, right?
How?
I'm asking. It worked out well for you.
Invited
She
you
said
to
how?
this show, PJ.
She said
Who invited you?
Hey,
PJ, I brought you here and I
listen,
got a pair of socks.
like, you seem to be like,
Yeah, he was on your side, Cheryl. How you thinking? Like, you shouldn't. He said it was so
I'm
bad
trying
for
to say,
you.
it seems like it worked out well
Well,
for you. That's why you
Oh,
did
thank
the same
you.
thing.
Let's cut the last 3 seconds.
I mean, man, she shouldn't let him. He on your side and you can't even see it.
Like, yeah.
She can't even see
Yeah.
it. She can't even see it. Always the
Sitting over
victim,
there,
right? Always the victim.
I thought you were on Jason's side.
This-
I
see there?
apologize.
See there?
I apologize.
Always the victim.
profusely.
That's all right. That's all
Thank you.
right.
He forgive me. Stay over there.
Whatever.
What were we talking
Whatever.
about? Anyway, college education or not, we're soon going to see the wrap-up thing. It's after 7 anyway.
See
There it is.
Wrap up.
All right.
Okay.
So, okay.
So,
We go around the table and wrap up. So, PJ, we'll allow you to go first, seeing that you are a guest, and then Cheryl and I.
All right, people, let's inform ourselves. Let's do what it takes to continue to progress and get better at what it is that we actually want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so whatever it is that you set yourself to accomplish, there are ways to continue to better yourself. So implement those things. If you have that drive, you have that passion, the opportunity and the information is there. It doesn't take one form. So find out what works for you, find out what it is that you want to do, what you can do, and do it. Because, like you say, the opportunities are now. So I wouldn't say a tertiary education is necessary, but educating yourself, informing yourself, absolutely is.
Definitely.
Absolutely is.
Definitely. I must agree with this very intelligent young man.
Very intense.
Trying to lotion now.
Trying to make up for that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna end the same way I started. I think it's important for you to know your goals. At the end of the day, what do you want to become? Who do you want to become? And sometimes that requires formal education. Sometimes it doesn't. The important thing is you have to do what's best for you. You know the kind of individual that you want to become at the end of the day, and so you need to travel the road that gets you there.
Absolutely.
And that could, whatever that is.
100%.
But if you're going to be a doctor who opens up any part of my body, you gotta get a formal education. There's certain things that, bottom line, just requires a formal education. So if that's your goal, then you know what you gotta do.
So both PJ and Cheryl said it. They're echoing. I will only be echoing it. Know where you want to go, and find the path that will get you there. I wouldn't say the shortest time, but successfully get you there. Cheryl said it. There's some things that require college education. There's some fields, and that's where you have to go. But not all requires that. And so don't waste your time going to college just to say you've been to college. Find out what you want to do and take that path to get you there. You don't have to go to college to say you've made it. There's a lot of successful people out there who didn't go to college and who made it.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of successful people who went to college and made it. So the ball could bounce either way. Just know where you want to go and find a path to get there. Parents, do not, try not to force your children to a path you want them to go on. God has placed a purpose in each one of us. Find that purpose, help your child to find that purpose inside them, and then guide them to that purpose.
Yes.
And then help them to get there. And God will definitely help you get on that path. College will definitely give you more options,
Yes.
but that's not the only way to get to success. So this has been Let's Talk. Thank you for joining us, guys. We will see you again next week, the same time. Thanks, PJ, for joining us here.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank you.
Cheryl.
It was great.
I said I would have been in my team. Thanks, Cheryl, for being here as well. We'll see you again
This
next
is the
week.
first time he ever thanked me. Good night.
That's why I say grit, Cheryl, grit. When I say we still
we
live.
off?